Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 2. So, um, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in my last video, but it's been a few weeks. I took a week off for a break, but I shaved, as you probably, if you didn't see the last one, you see now. Doing No Shave November. It is the 12th right now. I'm a little ahead still on Attack on Titan. Somehow, I guess I just got really into it and watched too many episodes too quickly at one point. I don't even remember doing it. So by the time you guys see this one, it might be like towards the end of November even, but that's why I'm trying to say the date is November 12th right now if you guys kind of want to see my progress on No Shave November. So anyway, with that out of the way, what the heck is happening in this show? Last episode, we went to a different group. I felt like I was confident that we were past um because we had like the 4-year war. I I feel like I remember 9 years ago I wrote down. Yeah, so that's why I was saying I think that Aaron is dead. Okay. I rewatched part of the episode, like the first half, but I didn't get around to finishing it, and that's my bad. But one thing I did notice while rewatching it was I thought that the Marleyan forces that we watched fight these like Russian like Eastern Alliance or whatever they're called. I just assumed the Eastern Alliance were Eldian. I don't think they are. I think they're either just a whole different faction, like not Marleyan or not Eldian, or they're like another Marleyan faction. I'm not 100% sure. Because the only reason I say that is because of one line that I heard when I was rewatching where they got like when the girl shit. Oh, I need to remember all their names too. God damn it. Um Sophia, was that it? Wanted like went in to blow up the tank, and they said, is that an Eldian woman? You know, in the accent, and the way that they worded it, I can't remember exactly how they said it, but it made it almost sound like they were like disgusted because she might be able to transform or whatever. Um, so I don't know. I guess they could still be Eldian, but I got the vibe that maybe. And there was another line where they said that when they lost the Colossal Titan, this other faction, like, it made the Marleyan group look weaker, and it made this other faction like rise up and think that they can beat them. You know, so it's just I'm really interested to learn more. I don't know what the heck is going on. Like we time skipped. Are we gonna go back? When are we gonna go back? I mean, I'm kind of metagaming in the fact that I feel like we have to go back. We ended the last season with like you must save Armin and Mikasa and things like that. Like I feel like we do have to either go back in time or we have to go in parallel to see what our parody group is doing. I don't know. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Let's just watch it and maybe we'll get some more help with what's going on this episode. We're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Mm. So there's other countries. Damn. Interesting. Damn. Ooh. Uh-oh. Jeez, alright. Well, shit. Yeah, so I mean, they straight up said it, answered my question. There are other countries that, and I don't think this world is, I already talked about this before, I don't think this world is just Marleyan and, you know, Eldian. There's a lot of focus on, like, birds and wings and stuff like that, too, which, I mean, I guess there always has been with, like, the Wings of Freedom and all that, but, with Falco last episode being like looking up at the bird, and he did say he was flying, but he said with two swords, so I think he means ODM gear. But but then we saw like birds again. They talked about a flying titan. We have birds in the opening, just interesting. But but yeah, so we have other countries that, you know, I guess at one point the Marleyans were seen as heroes, but people just don't care anymore. Like time has passed, and they're willing to go to war. Which they did say they're trying to expand their territory, right? Which they made it seem like the other countries were attacking them, but if they're expanding their territories, doesn't mean they're like moving into other people's territories, right? Oh, I don't think I had the subtitles on properly for the episode title, so oh well. Damn. Doesn't he have half? Wasn't his mom's an heir? I want a full report on how you wipe your ass. Man. So they're so unknown about what's going on over there. That's actually cool. Ah, it's Galliard, okay. That's Overhaul from the My Hero English dub. Ah. Damn. Huh. She's... She's the bipedal titan, then, right? Sorry, what did they call it? Cart. Cart titan. It took me a minute. I was like, 2 months since human, like, bipedal, but we know that Gilliard's right here, who is the one that's on all fours, running a lot, as the Jaws Titan, but so's the Cart Titan. They're so brainwashed. Gabi, that's right, I'm sorry. That's Sophia. I fucked up in the beginning, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm still learning their names. Man, could Aaron still be alive? Did I might have fucked up. It almost feels like we're setting up another attack, and... Oh. Oh, damn. Wow. I was gonna say this guy sounds drunk. She's into it now. He's thinking about that. Damn. Was it Falco Grice? It's not Rice, right? It's not another Rice bloodline. I don't know. I think it sounded like he said Grice. I just don't want to miss anything. Still impressed by their level of technology. Oh my god. Do people with the red armbands mean they're Titans? Yellow maybe means candidate, and gray means everyone else. Early soldiers. All the people we've seen with red armbands have been the warriors. I wanna like these guys, and I do. I just feel so bad for them because of how brainwashed they've been. Like, I'm gonna talk more about it in the discussion, though, as to why I feel that way. Okay, so they have red armbands too. So either it's family of Titans, or it means something else. She has... Okay. No, they have PTSD. Aw, oh, it's so mean. Damn. I'm like so disturbed by the situation. Hmm. I don't know if they already established that, but they're within the same family. Nephew. Wow. They're such devils. Oh my god. He's coping so hard. Yeah, see. Hmm. See? See? Nope. No, they're not! Oh my god, I hate this brainwashing. Oh shit. Was that one of the soldiers? Damn. Hmm. Uh-huh. Oh. What is the Warhammer Titan? I want to see it. Well, of course they're listening. Interesting. So that was the comment they didn't like? Why did Zeke add that line? Shit. Alright. Sorry. I take notes just to remind myself to talk about things. That's really interesting. So, I watched some reactions to season 1 through 3 after finishing 3, and, one of the guys in one of the reactions, see, I kind of just believed Zeke was fully on board. This is the first time, and one of the guys in the reactions thought maybe he was, like, super deep cover, you know? Like, maybe as a child he realized that the way his dad was going about trying to make change wasn't the way for it to be done. And so that's why he ended up, like, betraying his dad, was, like, maybe he was, like, the truest believer in the Eldian cause and stuff, right? And this has all been undercover. I didn't like, that was just like a, you know, he didn't fully believe that, but he just, it was one of his running theories, that reactor. Um and when I heard it, I was like, I don't know, but this is the first time that I could be like, oh, maybe, like, that is it, by the way, for episode 2. That's why I was like, oh, well, maybe this is the first time I've had a moment with Zeke where I've felt like, you know, he threw that line in and they seemed concerned about it, and we even had, like, Rhina thinking about it afterwards too. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, I want to immediately talk about the whole brainwashing thing of the people here. It's it's so frustrating because I feel bad for these people and I want to root for them, but they are just so damn brainwashed the way they're like, see, I wasn't sure how deep the brainwashing went. Like, I obviously know that they've been told they're devils and stuff. I didn't realize they're also being told uh that the people from Parody are, like, trying to actively, like, stomp them under their heels and stuff like that, you know? It's like they had to spin this narrative to be able to keep this war going, and they're convincing the Eldians and probably their own people that these demon bloods that are on this island are actively, like, combating them, and they're in a war with them, and if they don't keep holding them back, then they're gonna, you know, wipe them out and everything. Whereas the people on Parody, obviously, from what we know, is not the case. They're sitting there trying to live in peace. They're doing all they can just to keep the Titans outside of their walls, like, just barely hanging in there, you know? And it's the Marlians who have been assaulting and oppressing both Parody and the Eldians within their own walls. And the brainwashing goes so deep that the Eldian people who are being oppressed here are angry that their ancestors left and fled to this island to find peace, you know, because they didn't want to be oppressed by the Marlians anymore. And they're so brainwashed, they're mad that their ancestors did this because now they're left behind here and, like, paying for that crime. So they're being oppressed by the Marlians, and because of their anger of that, they want to go and oppress their own race, you know? Like, it's such a shitty situation. It's actually mind-blowing. And the sad thing is I 100% believe that it's possible for this kind of thing to happen to a group of people. And it's just, I feel so many emotions because I feel bad for them. They're so cheery and happy, they're ambitious, they have goals, they have dreams. But then when you hit that deeper level, like, we even had Rhina talking about them, and she's like, oh, they're just people, and then they had to like reaffirm, like bring that brainwashing back, like no, they're evil, like because of the way Rhina talked about them. They're like, oh, they're truly devils. This one girl tried to share her potato, and hers was a little bit bigger than the one she gave up. Truly cunning, these demon bloods over there. And this one's like so kind, he wants to help everyone. And Gabby was just like, huh, like having that realization. So I don't know. I really want the younger generation to maybe somehow meet people from Parody and see that they're not demons. But I don't know. Like I somehow want, like, because obviously I know we're building up to another big fight where they want to go attack Parody and everything. But I so badly want our people who are trying to do better. They're trying to, they're trying to be free. They're trying to keep all of their people in the know. They don't want to subjugate them. They don't want to keep them in the dark about things that are going on in their society and everything. I want them to somehow, like, reach out and maybe try to help the Eldians and maybe show their kindness and stuff. And I know it's not going to go that way. I know it's going to end in war because that's how humans are and that's how humanity is. But I'm the kind of person that just wants peace. I just want people to not fight and just like respect each other. And I don't know. So it's so painful now that we're getting to see this other group and we're starting to like them a little bit, and then we're gonna have to see our two groups that we like clash. Damn it. So, one of the really interesting things that we got info on, I talked a little bit about it during the opening, but first thing is the other countries. I love, like, once again, just further opening up the world this episode where it's like, yes, there are other countries. Like, the US might be out there somewhere, or, wherever. I don't even know where this is, technically. Like, it feels like it's somewhere in, like, Europe of some kind, based off, like, the names, I think, or like a Germany sort of thing. With like Jaeger seems like a German-esque sort of name. But like, and we know that Mikasa is, they called her, Oriental at one point, I think is that the word they used. But yeah, so she's obviously seeming Asian descent based on the way they talked about her. Sometimes it's hard to tell through the animation and everything, but yeah, so like there could be like an Asian continent. Now they're obviously named differently than what we know, so I don't know what they'd be called in this world, but and then obviously we had the Eastern forces that had kind of like Russian-y sort of accents and all that. So yeah. If I was better with geography, I could try to figure out if the Russian forces are Eastern and it's following a similar map to ours, what would be that would mean that more Western would be the direction of where this is all happening, right? I also don't know if the map gave away any clues, like if the landscape is anywhere near our world when we saw like a little bit of of islands and stuff like that. I didn't stop and look, and I don't know geography well enough to be able to like recognize it anyway. So, but anyway, moving on to the next thing. 32 survey ships have been sunk. So our people have been doing work. They've been any kind of scouting that the Marleyans are trying to do have been squashed every chance they try. 32 times they've tried. None of them returned. That's crazy. So they have no idea even how they're doing it. They don't know if it's, I mean, right now they have the Attack Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the Female Titan, which obviously we know that Annie is like locked in Crystal. Obviously things could have changed in this time skip, seemingly. But yeah, so I mean, I like that the Marleyans were like, we don't know if they're using the Female Titan, I like that they said that because, it's not like the show's metagaming, it's like the Marleyans, they don't have that info. I'm pretty sure even Rhina and Berthold didn't know the condition. Like, I'm pretty sure every time they talked about it, they joked saying that they were, like, torturing Annie and stuff like that, right? Or, well, not joked, but they were using it as, like, a way to rile up Rhina and Berthold. I don't think Rhina and Berthold ever found out that Annie was, like, locked herself in ice and stuff like, or not ice, but that hard crystal shit. So yeah, that was really cool. There was one moment I actually wanted to go back to it. It was when they were talking to Galliard. Rhino was talking to Galliard. I'm gonna put subtitles on, I think. They talk about so they talk the reason why I'm looking at this again is because they talked about like Marcel's memories, if I understood that right. I'm just trying to figure out if I like heard that name right. Hmm. Marcel's memories. Okay. Okay, I remember now. Not Marcel, Marcel. I see. I remember now. So this Galliard is the brother of Marcel. Marcel was the Titan that got eaten by Ymir. So Ymir is the one that popped out of the ground, ate Galliard's brother, and then uh and then he was saying like if 9 years ago I was the one that inherited the armored titan, this wouldn't have happened. He was thinking like he would have been able to protect his brother if he was the one that was out there with his brother at the time. So his brother was the previous Jaws Titan, and then Ymir became the Jaws Titan, and now Galliard has become the Jaws Titan. And they talked about how he's seen some of Ymir's memories. That's also why, yeah, learn what I need to from my predecessor Ymir. Brand name. I wasn't sure what he said there. I think I might have been talking and talked over it and couldn't hear as well. A grand name for a pitiful woman, with Ymir being the original, and her being given that name. Yeah, so Galliard, like, yeah, Galliard does not seem to like Rhina very much, but I guess Rhina and Berthold were there when his brother was eaten and they weren't able to save him, so there's probably a little bit of resentment there. Okay. Now that makes more sense. Let me change my notes to do Marcel so I can try to remember that. But yeah. And then 2 months since I've been human. That line confused me and I wrote it down, but I kind of already addressed it in the episode. That lady that walked in and said that and said she's not used to being like bipedal and everything. I don't know why it took me so long to realize she's the cart titan. I was just like, my mind went straight to like, wait, Galliard is the one that runs around on all fours. Wait, so who's this one? And then it was like, and then finally, like, light bulb in my head just went off and was like, oh, right, yeah, the cart titan exists. That is a thing. I guess I just assumed that the cart titan was a man. Um, so I guess that confirms that if a woman takes on the titan, they aren't necessarily a female titan. The female titan is a special category. So does that mean that if a guy were to inherit the female titan, that they would take on like a female form? Which is also really interesting to think about because it like kind of took on like a little bit of the facial features of Annie. So I'm just imagining like imagine someone with like a Giga Chad face taking on like the female Titan form. Oh man. But anyway, so you just have like that that like hard jawline, like crazy chin, like male looking face on the female Titan body. I don't know. But anyway. I do. Let's go back subtitle line. This was when they were on the train, with Rhina and Rhina. They're going over the war stories. Rhina gets pissed at him. He says, "Okay, it is Grice, Falco Grice. I did hear it right." So I don't think we had the Rice family. I imagine that's different. So I just wanted to confirm that as well. So got the subtitles for it. We had them talk about the Tibber family, which is a family that has the Warhammer Titan in its possession. The reason why we haven't seen that Titan yet is because this family has no intention or doesn't want to use their Titan in like political affairs and assaulting other nations. And they're apparently a well-respected Eldian family. Like, they're not persecuted in the way that the other Eldians are. So I think they did briefly mention why. There's always so much information, guys. I'm sorry. But there's I think they briefly mentioned why they became the power, like, as respected. I want to see it in subs too, so I can kind of get the subs. The Tiber family. I spelled that wrong. Okay, I did it Tiber, not Tybur. But okay. It's true that the Tibers have never used their Titan's power against other countries. And as the family that repelled King Fritz in the Great Titan War, that's right, they did say that. I just spaced it. Like, I do, now that I read it again, I remember them saying that. So, like, the Warhammer Titan, I guess, or at least that family, beat King Fritz and pushed, and then King Fritz ran to parody. Now, question: is there more to that story? Is that what they're being told? Right? Like, is it possible that that family let King Fritz go so that way, like, the Eldians can try to have like a foothold somewhere else in a way or something? I don't know. Once again, I take everything I hear here with a grain of salt because everyone's so brainwashed. Who knows? Like, I trust this information so much less than I trust like the janky, ill-informed people of parody, because at least they're like actively trying to seek out the truth despite like some of it being hidden within lies and all that. But like, these guys are just like soaking in that copium, like they're just living in their ignorance. So, but yeah. Very interesting. Anyway, was there anything else? I guess they talked about how Zeke seemed very confident that he could get the Tiber family to help, but everyone else seemed not confident at all. So I wonder how that's gonna work. I guess we'll have to see. But their words carry weight. The world will have to listen to them. So, okay, hearing it again, it does sound like they've already said they're gonna come help. The way Zeke first introduced it, it sounded like he was like, "This is my idea. We're gonna get their help," But now it sounds like they're saying that they've already decided to help. Like, why do they get to come play the heroes now? And stuff, like almost questioning. Like, one of the lines almost seemed like they're questioning, like, why now? In the subs anyway, the way it was worded. So, yeah, I don't know, but the name of the Warhammer, I don't know what that means. Like, we've seen some crazy Titans. Is it possible that it actually does have like a... Wait, didn't we see someone with a club in one of like the shots of like the past, like the cool like sketchy art sort of thing? Didn't we see someone one with like a giant hammer or something like that? I wonder if that's the Warhammer Titan. That would make sense. But anyway, I'm really curious. Like, is it known as a Warhammer Titan because it just uses a weapon, or does it actually have like a hammer like built into its form in some way? Like, kind of like, does it have like a lot of armor on its hand or something, and it makes it into like a Warhammer kind of thing? I don't know. But I'm curious to know why they call it the Warhammer Titan, unless it's just because in history it's been known to use that weapon, so now that's just its style, you know? But either way, I'm just really intrigued to see it. At one point, I didn't make a note of this, but I just thought of it. They talked about how Zeke's Beast Titan is stronger than any other Beast Titan before, and they even compared it, saying that it's like almost like Founding Titan level. And um and then they said it's not like your royal blood, but didn't wasn't Grisha's first wife of royal blood? That was like how she was introduced anyway, unless that was a lie. But also, I mean, that would make Grisha like, I mean, not Grisha, Zeke like half Grisha's bloodline, half royal bloodline. Is it possible that if that really was a royal bloodline, did they somehow not know that? Did they like brainwash that out of Zeke, or does maybe the populace not know that, or maybe like the Marleyans never knew in the first place who she was? But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what happened there, but I wonder if that is the case. Like, is his Titan more powerful because he has a little bit of royal blood in him, and that's why it is, or is it something else? Is he just talented, or what? I don't know. So, anyways, the PTSD soldiers too. I didn't talk about that one yet. I kind of skipped over it in my notes. My bad. But that was a horrible moment too. Once again, like, I don't understand how. I mean, once I know they're brainwashed and everything, but how can you sit here and think that everything these Marleyans are telling you is all good when they're treating your people that way? When you see your people coming back from war with PTSD, their minds are all confused, they're all messed up, and then one of the officers that's supposed to be like taking care of them is like, boom, and they all freak out. Like, how can you possibly see that and be like, yeah, this is the side of good? But I mean, it's just the brainwashing is how they were raised, so they probably just, this is what they feel is normal, and they're brainwashed to think like, this is what I deserve for what my ancestors did in the past, when no human should be treated that way for things that their ancestors did in the past, in my opinion. Um like, if you're your own person, you're not what your ancestors were. Now, if you choose to do what your ancestors did, sure. But, you know, like, I don't know. And what their ancestors did, well, okay. What the Eldians are accused of doing originally sounded pretty bad. But at least, like, they talk a lot about the Parody Island and how they just ran away to be peaceful, you know? It's like, can you imagine being like, oh, these fucking assholes running away to be peaceful? Who do they think they are? They're freaking demons. Like, who would want peace? We need war! I don't know. But yeah, it's just, the brainwashing is so frustrating to see, but I feel bad, you know? Oh, man. Alright. I can't wait to watch more, guys. I think that's it for me. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more. Links in the description below should be popping up on the screen. 2 episodes on there through the early access tier. And I will see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.